The following podcast is brought to you by the Johners Podcasting Network, found exclusively at WrestlingWithJohners.com.
All right, everybody, welcome to another edition of After the Elite, brought to you by Bucklebomb Entertainment. I am your host for today. My name is Orlando, and I'm joined by Seven and Are You Elite Scary? How are you guys doing tonight?
I am on such a high from that show. Like, it was outstanding. So I'm doing great. How about you, Gary?
Well, I don't know how to counter with that, but very well. And I'm going to say this really quick, a little off topic from AEW, but every time I hear our intro before we start, it makes me think of Christmas time every time, and I'm just like loving it every time when I hear it. I've always wanted to say that. It's always dawned on me. With that said, though, I do agree with Brian or Seven. What a damn good show! A lot to cover on this. Let's get it started.
Yes, we have a lot to cover. I mean, yes. So let's just get into the big thing, which was the AEW World Championship match. Now, we were expecting this to be the main event. We were expecting this to we had like different theories and stuff. But what happened was 3 minutes, like 3 to 5 minutes, and Jon Moxley is now your undisputed World Heavyweight Champion. I start with you, Gary. How did you feel when you saw this match and your reaction?
I think what everybody thought, is, AEW, is Tony Khan, who's really pissed at home? Is it legitimate? Now, the other legitimate thing could be, is he really, really injured? I'm going to do my best to tackle the story. Orlando, I'm sure you will with Fightful as well. It's just one of those things that was very interesting. Sarah did mention a good point in the chat, though. With the interview scrums when Punk won the title, he doesn't want to do this interim shit. He really doesn't. He just wants it to be one champion, and I think that's what he did here. And then Orlando was just something about theories. I just have that feeling we're going to see MJF challenge Mox at All Out. And I say that because what could I see that countering? If Punk is in fact going to be injured, for who knows how long, why not? Let's have Punk join forces with MJF in his hometown. The heat that he would get, he's like, fuck my hometown, I don't want to be here. You guys, you were saying this on the internet, blah, 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 blah. And it would make me happy in a way because MJF seriously deserves it. So bad, especially the big one. Again, me fantasy booking, wishful thinking, just hopes that will happen. I would be very shocked if Mox does not have a match next Sunday. I mean, if not, who the hell is going to be his opponent then? So that's a perfect segue to Seven. Who do you think will be the next challenger for Mox?
Oh, that's a really good question. Possibly Hangman for a little bit. I don't think he'll capture it again, at least not yet. I think that he could possibly be next in line. It just depends where they want to go with the story. Ultimately, who I would love to see as, or not as champion, but eventually go head-to-head if I'm fantasy booking, I'm going to have to go with Will Ospreay and Mox.
Ooh, that would be a dream match right there.
I would not turn that down.
Well, I mean, we'll get into his little match in a moment, but I have to say, when I watched this this title match, I was expecting it to be like at least a 20-minute banger, and then we get almost a 5-minute match. I was just I was dumbfounded. I was shocked. I mean, Punk was playing into the whole injury thing, so I don't know what's happening here. But of course, our very own Sarah said that CM Punk did not want to hold, the belt for so long. So, So we shall see what happens. So I'm
So
happy for John. I'm sorry.
sorry, for me, okay, I understand what Sarah's saying, but at the same time, if you're already injured, are you going to risk getting further injured by competing in a match? One. Two, as a company, as a boss, you are allowing your already injured, not cleared wrestler to enter that ring. That's set up for a lawsuit. So, I mean, could he have signed a paper and said that AEW is not liable for any? Yes, absolutely, of course. But there's so much risk at it. I don't know if that's realistic of what it could be. Could it be? And they just were like, I don't care. Just go out there and hurt yourself more. Whatever. I don't think so, but I don't know. I think there's a ton more to that story, and I think we're only getting barely the surface. You know how the internet is. We're going to go back and forth. We're going to hear every sign. I don't really care. Like, let's see what ended up happening. We all know that we end up finding out the truth in like 10 years and everybody does shoot videos, right? So, like,
Pretty much.
so don't read the dirt sheets. Don't read, like, just enjoy the show for what it is and try not to get involved in the, like, that. It's that. But I did want to mention real quick. Sorry, Orlando. I know I cut you off twice. And there'll probably be more throughout the show.
Hey, no worries. No worries.
But I did want to mention that we keep mentioning the chat that we're in. If you guys join our Patreon, which is now live at Bucklebomb, you can also join our chat and chat with us for live weekly shows along with pay-per-views.
Yeah.
Sorry, selfless plug.
Yeah, and you're jumping the gun because I wanted to save that for last, but that's okay. No worries. Anyways, but no. It's okay. It's okay, but it's very proud for us that we're on Patreon. But we'll get into that a little bit later. Anyways, but you go ahead, Gary.
Sorry, Orlando. I just saw a comment come in. I don't know who it's from.
Well, let me see.
It's Majestic Marie.
Okay, thank you very much, Majestic. He's the person saying that he's biased because he wanted Eddie Kingston to face, probably CM Punk, but he wouldn't mind, Moxley. I mean, because they are going to be at Arthur Ashe in New York in a couple of weeks, so we'll see. I mean, we never know. They could still do, Kingston versus Moxley, but right now what they're trying to do is just try to set up everything to be clear because what happened is just that a lot of the fans were saying, like they wanted it to be Punk. A lot of fans were saying they wanted it to be Moxley. So a lot of fans were like really divisive in regards about it. So a lot of us were thinking like, is it going to be a no contest? Are they going to go up to 30 minutes and we're going to have a rematch at All Out? We had so many different theories. So I'm happy to see that they actually gave a winner and it was Jon Moxley. And I enjoyed his promo that he said that, it is his time. His time is now because like, I think a lot of people brush him off, which is unfortunate because he was the champion during the pandemic era, so it's nice to him to have a reign when there's now a crowd, that's my opinion, so I'm happy for him, so. But also, they could still do a storyline, Punk is still kind of injured and maybe he'll face somebody at All Out because it is his hometown, so we'll see what happens. I personally feel like because they announced the ladder match at the casino ladder match, All Out, I feel like that's probably going to be his number one contender and face Moxley in the main event.
Wow. So Mox, okay. I mean, that would be a first time ever, I think.
Yeah. That'd be smart. Like, they'll have the person win like a chance to face the champion, in the main event. And then, because I'm thinking MJF is coming back soon. So that would be smart for them to use MJF, and then like, I don't know, like, it's just like, there's so many different pieces that they can do. It's just, right now, this is very up in the air. We don't know where they're going. And I like this,
Yeah.
I do
agree.
Yeah. So, okay. So, but what was your reaction though? I want to know your guys' reaction when you saw that Moxley won. What was your first initial reaction?
Like, what the hell did I just see? I think it's easily I could be wrong, but the shortest title match in AEW's history.
Wasn't it like Brody?
Oh yeah.
Brody Lee and Cody was a little short. It was like almost like 2 to 3 minutes as well.
That is true. I think Brody is in that frame. Yeah, it was pretty shocking. Before we go to Seven's reaction, I gotta say it. Orlando, you gave me a chuckle when you said, "Your time is now." That's right. John Cena is going to be going up against Mox with the title because
he kind of said like my time is goddamn right now. So it was like he kind of changed it so that he doesn't get the copyright or anything. But with the new regime, I don't think they're going to be that petty. We'll see how Triple H is. But anyways, Seven, your reaction when you saw that Moxley won?
Well, I kind of felt like he was going to win or Punk was going to get it. Like, for some reason going into this, I almost felt like something was happening with Punk. One, so I'm going to kind of like go against what I said myself. The last couple of weeks that we saw Punk, I saw him like hobble, but I wasn't sure if he was just playing it up into the match so he could seem injured, but he still seemed very hurt when he was doing his promos because he was limping. So I was like, there's no way that they're gonna let him wrestle. Also, to be fair, to also contradict my own argument, a lot of wrestlers back in the day used to continually wrestle injured. So I mean, is it unheard of? No, but in this day and age, it's probably pretty unlikely. So I wanted to counter my own argument there. My reaction was WTF? Like, what just happened? Like, it was advertised at the beginning of the show as the main event. We're seeing it now. So when I first saw it, I was like, oh shit, a match went over or something. So they cut the other ones, and now it's going to be this is the main event, and it's going to be an hour long, right? Because I saw the time, and I was like, okay, cool. It is what it is. And then like 5 minutes later, like I think I got a work text or something, and I was replying back, and like the match was basically over, and I was like, "What?" So like,
yeah, exactly.
Literally, like, it was just what WTF, and then I thought like, okay, something must have happened because of all the evidence, but who knows? I mean, this could all be one huge work, or it could be something a lot serious that we don't know about. And that's what I mean. Don't get involved in the dirt sheets. Just watch it, and they'll tell us what we need to know. And then in 10 years, we'll find out the truth. Have somebody shoot interview.
Exactly.
So I will say, in Punk's defense too, obviously he made that big return when I was at the Minneapolis show. I do agree with Brian. It felt like he did have an issue with his foot even then, because even when he ran out, he was not full speed ahead, man. Like, I can agree with that. Yeah, he may have hopped a little bit, for having this whole charismatic type persona that, maybe just it was the excitement of the Punk, whatever. But even when they went off the air and when he was walking towards the stage, yeah, he still was having a tough time just going up to the ramp. So he, in fact, really could seriously be hurt. And it was reported, Orlando, you might have to help me out here, a week ago from Fightful, I believe it was, or Dave, that Punk still was not 100%. So.
Yeah.
And we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yes. And I see we got some comments right here. So we got somebody saying, okay, I could see. Okay, so they're agreeing with whatever we were saying. I don't know which one.
No, I'm sorry. That was me. I replied to all the comments with because of chatting. So that was to Majestic about her comment, and then Caleb, I replied back to his.
Okay, there we go. Dynamite was, of course, TNT. Oh no, Dynamite, like the actual emoji Dynamite. My bad, Caleb. Thank you very much, Caleb, for joining us tonight. So yeah, so now let's go into, I would have to say, a great segment which was the opener for the show, which was Chris Jericho and Daniel Garcia, where they had their face-to-face, and Chris Jericho wants Daniel Garcia to apologize because he kind of like attacked Jericho, but like Daniel Garcia explained himself. And then, of course, Bryan Danielson came out and then explained that, to Daniel Garcia that he is a wrestler. And then, like, the crowd was eating up this. I just love this segment. Seven, let's start with you. What say you about this segment?
So, okay. Like, this is kind of weird and personal to a certain extent. Like, today's been kind of a shit day with work, right? Like, it has been. So when I came home, like the one thing I was looking forward to is at least I have Dynamite tonight, right?
Mhm.
And sometimes, like, if I'm in, talk about a work text. Sometimes when I'm in a mood, I could very easily just be like, I don't want to watch Dynamite, but I'll do it. But, and this is why this is important. That first segment turned my entire attitude, my entire look at the show, how I felt, completely around. I am so invested in this storyline that I was like, okay, this is going to be an awesome show. And then we, as the show went on, we're left with a lot of what WTF moments. So that segment, one, was absolutely genius. Brian, or what is it, Brian Danielson here?
Brian
Danielson,
Danielson, that's
Brian?
right. Yeah, Brian
Brian.
Danielson.
Um, I always get it confused. Um, he's absolutely amazing. And this is really the first time that we really got to see a lot of emotion and a lot of character work from Daniel Garcia. And I think one of his biggest things that people were saying is that he has no character, he has no charisma. Now what? Now what are you gonna say? Like, he showed amazing heart and emotion and range, right? Because at the end of the day, when they're doing promos, you're an actor, or at least it's coming from within, but you're still acting, right? So for that was amazing for me to see. And like, I really feel that last week when he wrestled Brian, a star was made, right? But this certified him as a star, and I absolutely love this segment. What say you, Gary?
I totally agree with you 100%. I mean, I feel this was legitimate raw emotion from Garcia.
Yeah.
This is one of the reasons why I love AEW, because they let them go out there, say what you want, say what you feel, get the crowd invested, make millions of people at home very invested, such as yourself, such as Orlando, everybody. Man, this was beautifully executed. Very, very good. I said in the group chat, though, I really firmly believed, okay, here comes Danielson, and I'm like, yep, we're just going to see, Garcia just continue his journey with Jericho. Attacking Danielson? No. It makes you wonder what's next.
And again, we mentioned the chat. You could always join our Patreon. Go ahead.
Of course, like Caleb says, he doesn't see Daniel Garcia turning on Jericho's Appreciation Society. That's what they're called. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just going to call them sports entertainers.
I'm just gonna call them Jazz. Like every time. Jazz.
Of course. Caleb, you believe that Jericho is going to win at All Out? I mean, I could see it because, of course, the end of the when Daniel Garcia walked out because he accidentally pushed his mentor Chris Jericho, he didn't want to deal with it anymore. And then, of course, Bryan Danielson and Chris Jericho challenge each other to a match at All Out, which I'm excited because it's been like a couple of years since these two have faced each other. So I'm anxious just to see how they're going to do now in an AEW ring together. So what say you, Gary? How do you feel about this match being set up for All Out?
I mean, it's just there's not much left in the tank for both men, perhaps, and maybe they just want to do one more big time match together before they, definitely retire. So, I mean, I think it should be okay for what it's going to be.
Caleb says that you know that he's a Inner Circle and a Jericho Appreciation Society fan.
Trust me, I know. I had Caleb on one of my specials on RU Elite, and that guy, yes, Caleb really loves his Inner Circle. But yeah, I mean, I'm invested with the match. Gosh, I really hope at the end of the day, though, this puts Garcia perhaps maybe turning on Jericho, and we see perhaps Garcia going to BCC or whatever happens with them. I mean, just imagine the tag team. What if they become a tag team? I would love to see that.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I think personally, I would love it if Garcia just turns on both of them and he just goes on his own. Now that he got this reaction, the people behind him, in a sense, like what he can do, like he already learned what he needed to learn from Jericho. He got a lot of main event matches. I think now he can, like, flap his wings by himself, and
A little too soon. Unpopular maybe, but a little too soon.
I don't know if I necessarily agree or disagree with Gary on that. I think that Joss needs needs Daniel more than Joss needs Daniel. Yeah. Wait, no, I said that wrong. So I believe that Joss needs Daniel more than Daniel needs them. There we go.
Okay. Yeah, and plus I don't want to see Garcia lost in the shuffle because of their big roster.
Right.
And this keeps him on TV. That's why I'm thinking it's too soon to let him spread his wings. But
Gary, you gotta explain this to what Caleb is saying right here. Like AEW already late. I miss it. I want to top fan. So he wants to be the top fan of the show, of the group, huh? Are you being biased to our Caleb right here, huh?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think he's talking about the group.
Yeah, of course.
I see what he's saying, though. He used to be one of my top fans where I would give him a badge on arguably. But Caleb, you make like 100 accounts. I don't know which one is really yours. So we'll get there.
Don't worry, Caleb. You will be the top fan again. No worries. But anyways, let's talk about, I feel like, a match of the year contender. This trio's main event match. Death Triangle.
Wait, hold on. Let's not do. No. We're missing a lot. Like, let's hold on.
Oh,
okay.
We are.
Okay, so all right. So if you let's go backtrack then. So of course, the first match that happened, which was Dax of FTR versus Jay Lethal. I feel like this was a very classic type of amateur type of match. I feel like it was really good back and forth between these two, and it was a very much one-on-one. Of course, Sunday done try to get it interfere, but I enjoyed the match though, towards the end. What say you guys?
I thought it was a good match. I think it kind of came at a weird spot because there's so much going on and so much had happened at that point. For me, like let's not take anything away. The match itself was great. It was just in a weird spot where I was like, okay, let's get to this spot. Let's get to that. Like, I wanted to see what was next more than I was able to focus on that match. But it was an outstanding match. Like, look who you had in it.
Mm-hmm. Well, of course, like the fans were chanting "This is awesome" to it, which is a great match, I have to say. Dex Harwood is just like, to me, is just like he should be having a singles run. Like, he's been having incredible singles matches. Like, what say you, Gary? Like, what do you think? Like, do you think he has a career as a singles competitor?
Well, before I give my comment on that, all I'm gonna just do is. That's all you could hear. Good grief.
Oh my God, no. Tonight's chops are like, they were extra. I was just like, good Lord.
Damn.
I'm gonna interrupt real quick. I'm so sorry, Gary. I'm gonna do this all night. Apparently my ADHD is like, fuck people's feelings. No. So no, I take it back. I actually forgot who Jay, when I was talking, I forgot who was wrestling Jay. I just remembered the sequences in my mind, but I couldn't see the face. I totally forgot that it was Dax. So I kind of changed my mind a little bit, what I said about not being able to, like, I was looking forward to the next. Now, I was really invested in that match because I'm a huge fan of FTR. So I'm sorry, Gary. Your turn now.
Hey, it happens. Trust me. Yeah, this match was very, very well done. I mean, Lethal, gosh, I could really see him go all day. Like, he's so fun to watch.
Lethal's amazing. I'm sorry. Like, I've seen Lethal since, like, TNA Impact days, I didn't catch his early days in Ring of Honor, but I was able to get a glimpse of it in TNA Impact, so.
Yeah. But nothing to be sorry about Orlando, because, yeah, I mean, the guy is so underrated, sorry. But either way, awesome. The finish was a little interesting, but I think that's good in a sense because it's building that. Okay, well, I'm one over. Maybe I could see next week Cash Wheeler up against. I'm sorry, who else is about? I don't think Sanjay Dutt's going to be in a match.
Yeah. Well, yeah, let's segue into the post match where Sunday Dutt decided to announce who's the actual tag team for Jay Lethal, which is
Here comes Orlando excitement. Here
The
we go.
Motor City Machine Guns. If y'all don't know the Motor City Machine Guns, they are an incredible tag team from TNA Impact. They did wrestle in New Japan. I'm like, yes, give me this. Like, give me FTR versus Motor City Machine Guns. That's going to be a match of the year contender. I mean, I was just like, what? How did they get them? I was like losing my mind. I was just like, bravo, bravo, bravo. It's AEW, bravo.
And this is true. He absolutely was losing his mind. And in the chat, again, you can join us on Patreon.
I don't blame him though, because that was really unexpected.
Absolutely.
I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, the Bucks talk about the Motor City Machine Guns in their book, so so they had incredible matches with them. They had amazing tag matches in TNA in Impact. I mean, I'm just happy for them. They're going to be showing it more to a bigger crowd, so I'm excited for them. So, and I'm interested just to see how they're going to do this. It's just like, is it going to be who's going to take the win here? So. It's interesting because you have Wardlow, who's your current TNT champion. So it's very interesting what they're doing here. But
he's not only the TNT champion. Whoa.
Nope.
What's that?
Oh, I was saying he's not only the TNT champion, he also has your affection of the eye of yourself.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. If you guys want to know what Seven is talking about, Wardlow happened to be at the indie promotion that he started his career in, Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. And then, we see a little girl crying, and next thing you know, he buys something for this little girl and gives it to her. Bravo, Michael Wardlow. Something about the name Michael, because my father is soft as a bear as well. So, so that's really classy. I love it.
And before anybody says that he's getting clout for it, no, he's not even the one that said anything. It was actually Lady Frost, who's also an amazing wrestler. So kudos to her, or to him, just being an awesome guy.
Of course, of course. But now to the sad moment. I was a little upset with the segment, which was a Thunder Rosa interview. She was very emotional. And she said that she cannot defend her title at All Out because she's injured. What say you guys? Let's start with you, Seven. How did you feel when Thunder Rosa made that announcement?
I was sad for her, knowing that she's on the top of the mountain and that it's not that, and it's her time, right? And injuries suck no matter what. It takes you out no matter where you are in the game. It's tough. I believe her when she says that she's going to come back with a bigger chip on her shoulder to prove. Absolutely. I cannot wait for Thunder Rosa to come back, and Chris Statlander. They have a stacked women's division, and, all the cards are set up perfect for this division right now. And, you're losing two of your top stars. So it's kind of like AEW is not getting a break where it comes to, but they hired a bunch of new women talent in the past couple of months. We have Athena, we have, I'm missing people that I can't think of. But
just came back, of course, Kylan King, she was on the show. We'll probably get to her match, of course, and hopefully Willow will probably get signed. Layla Gray has been featured a lot now in AEW, so, she's probably going to be a new talent, hopefully.
And Sky Blue.
Yeah, Sky Blue, of course, she was there. Ty Conti and Anna Jay, they're doing some good work, with the Jericho Appreciation Society, So, Gary, what say you? How did you feel when you heard the Thunder Rosa announcement?
Damn, within a couple of weeks, you're losing a couple of your really good pieces to the women's division. Very unfortunate injuries. Of course, I'm very, very, very saddened by this with Rosa. There is no way this is what people like to call a kayfabe injury. This is a legitimately injury with Rosa. Again, guys, don't forget to follow Bucklebomb Entertainment for the very latest. Once that gets released, we will definitely give you more information for her injury for that.
Yes. Well, of course, during the show, they did announce during commentary that they're going to have a fatal four-way at All Out. to crown an interim women's champion. You have Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, Jamie Hayter, Hikaru Shida, and Tony Storm. How do you guys feel about this match? Gary, let's start with you. How did you feel when they announced this match?
Shida is a little bit of a head scratch. Like it's very weird, but Shida's. If I get a guess, I mean, Shida's been one of the big pieces to the women's division, so maybe they're including her with that.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I guess that's the only one that I'm confused about because she just lost in a match on Elevation, regardless it was a tag match. But that doesn't take away my thoughts on Shida. I think she's really impressive. And then one that I really, really love, and I love to see her win the title, Jamie Hayter, getting into the match. I think that's awesome for her. Now, if we had McGrizzle on the show, I think he would agree with me that maybe she should perhaps be the next interim champion. I don't think they're going to go that route. I think what they're going to do is put the title on Storm, and then you're going to see, I expect Thunder Rosa, when she comes back, her and Storm to go at it. And that's that. And one more thing, I really love the decision for one reason. A couple of reasons, but one of the reasons that I love is because it's not just Tony Storm and Britt Baker. No, we're going to get 4 women. I really like that decision because it's getting more people on your card. So especially for the woman that could really deserve something like this, I like it.
Mm-hmm.
I personally don't necessarily understand how they picked the women. I think it was possibly a really quick decision that they had to make. Because, I mean, you mentioned that you're not sure why Shida is in there because she had just lost, which I get that way of thinking. But at the same time, so did Hayter. Like, she just lost against Rosa. And then she lost a couple weeks ago in a tag team. So, I mean, it's like, how are they picking the women to be there?
I said in the chat, it probably is the top women ranked. So I'm thinking maybe these are their top women for singles wins, maybe.
That's true. I didn't think of that. Yeah.
So that would make sense because of course Hikaru Shida, she's been doing a lot of dark elevation matches. So that's why she hasn't been seen. I mean, I love her look when she came back. I'm loving the short hair, a little red and stuff. I mean, I'm a big fan of Hikaru Shida. I mean, I hope maybe she wins again because unfortunately she had that reign that was not working because of the fact of the pandemic and people are not behind her. So I'm hoping that maybe she win it. I don't know, but I mean, I would love it if Jamie Hayter wins it. I just don't want Britt Baker to win it again. I'm sorry. We already had her reign. Let new women, because some new fresh faces need to win the title, to help build the women's division. That's my opinion. But
sorry, I was gonna say, don't worry, this is not Charlotte Flair.
No, but it's she did stay away. That's good, but she keeps coming back to it, which that's the annoyance of it. But I get it because of course she is kind of the face of the division because they put her in that place. I think Thunder Rosa was gonna be there, but I don't know what happened. I think because of a lot of injuries that were happening. Of course, Chris Statlander, she got injured. Penelope Ford, she was injured. The Bunny got injured. So a lot of the contenders for Thunder Rosa, was shrinking. So that's what's unfortunate. So, and of course, Thunder Rosa couldn't have a match with somebody from Stardom. So that's unfortunate. So I wish Thunder Rosa the best, So we go to the next match, which was Colton Gunn versus his father, Billy Gunn. It was an okay match.
It was. I mean, it did what it was supposed to.
Yeah, I mean, it progressed the story. He cheated because of interference that happened in the back because of Stokely, and then of course Austin taking out the Acclaim. And of course he beat his dad, and then all of a sudden, Stokely gave his card, and then the Gun Club was attacking their father, and then of course the save came with Swerve and Keith Lee. And of course, go ahead.
I'm sorry. No, go ahead. Because it ties in with the rankings, so go ahead.
Okay, okay. So I was just gonna say, like, of course, Swerve Our Glory saved them. So I was gonna say, how do you feel about that? So, but go ahead with the ranking first before we continue.
So it's interesting because and it has to do with what we were talking about. If we're going off of rankings, Hangman Adam Page is considered the number one contender,
Oh,
because he's number one. Number
okay.
two is Jay Lethal, and number three is Powerhouse Hobbs.
Oh,
Who's number five may actually surprise, or four is Chris Jericho, and number five is Daniel Garcia. Okay, so that's not even my point, but I just found that interesting.
Wow. Okay.
As far as the women's division, as far as who is ranked right now, which we all know was Toni Storm. Number two is, of course, Chris Statlander, but
of course she's injured.
yeah. And then we had DMD, and then we had Jamie Hayter. But what else is kind of interesting is that Athena is ranked in number five.
But she's gonna go after Jade, So who's number six, though?
I think they need to get that. I think they need to get that in a whole different, like, graphic for each title, because I'm confused by that too.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. Like, yeah, that's very confusing as well. It's like, are they going after the TNT belt? Are they going after the world title? Are they going to go to the TBS? Are they going to the women's championship? Yeah. So, anyways,
sorry, Orlando. The thing that I'm confused about, though, why is that baby still number two?
Well, she still competed, though. That's the thing. She still competed. So remember, they don't go down until they stop competing, I think, or they have their losses. So it's
no.
I'm sorry.
Sorry. I know. I kind of know the answer. So if she has, say she has 20 wins, right? So she's going to remain in that bracket until the percentage of the next person, or however many wins they need to, will come up and knock her off. Like, I don't think they're just going to knock her off because, oh, you're injured. Maybe, or they just lack updating. I don't know. But like mathematically, like, it just has to do with percentages and how many wins somebody else has to get there and all that kind of stuff. So that made sense to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm not that smart to figure it out, but yeah.
Right.
She'll get the title when she comes back. I'll be one happy camera.
Yeah. So, but we'll see. But we'll see. Like, we'll probably look more into the whole rankings, anyways. But of course, after the match with Colton and Billy Gunn, of course, Swerve Our Glory talks to the Acclaim, and then they announce they want to have a match with them. So we have Swerve Our Glory versus the Acclaim at All Out for the AEW tag titles. How do you guys feel about this? Seven, let's start with you. So Swerve Our Glory, and the Acclaim are going to have a tag match for the tag titles. Did they put you on the spot? I'm sorry.
No, I didn't think I knew that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, they did. Yeah, that's what their in backstage interview that happened. They announced it, and then they announced it later on in the show. So.
Oh, I'm okay with it. I kind of feel like it's going to be one of those things that it's going to be a very predictable match.
I don't know. I would love it if the Acclaim win. I mean, they're a hot tag team. I mean, do you hear that crowd when they came out? I mean,
I'm not denying that they're fan favorites. I'm just saying that I feel like this is going to be a very predictable match.
Okay. What say you, Gary?
I actually wholeheartedly agree with Orlando. I think this could be unpredictable in some aspect because, people love Keith Lee. People love, Swerve. However, the Acclaimed has been so red hot lately. The crowd, or should I say, everybody loves the Acclaimed. Plain and simple. I'm just, yes, daddy, yes, it's okay. It's going to be very interesting to see if they pull the trigger with the Acclaimed. Same time, like, AEW really doesn't believe in short title reigns. So that's where the predictable where the predictability does come down.
I'm throwing that out of the window now, because now with CM Punk losing, I look, all bets are off now. Okay,
Okay, I stand corrected.
yeah. So of course, yeah, but we'll see. Of course, the next match was Britt Baker versus Kylan King. Of course, Britt Baker got some heat because of the fact that she's a Pittsburgh Steelers, something with sports. I don't. Of course, she got the win against Kylan King. So it was a good little short match, and of course, Britt Baker has to go ahead and cut a promo, criticizing Thunder Rosa. When does she doesn't have to criticize Thunder Rosa?
I love Britt Baker, so no issue for me here. Kylan King, though, I would be surprised if she won't be signed anytime soon. I mean, I thought she did pretty well again this week. So
Right. And of course, Tony Storm was coming out because she was about to beat her up, but then Jamie attacked her, and then that's when Hikaru Shida came to the save. I have to say, I love her look. I love her short hair. It looks bomb. Like, I'm a fan of Hikaru Shida. I'm sorry. Like, I always give her praise. I can't help myself.
She's great.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, of course, we talked about the world title match, which, we didn't mention this though. Like, before the match happened, CM Punk was getting mixed reaction. So, and also at the end of the match, he was looking around the crowd, and he looked like he was upset. So
yeah,
we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Of course, like, they take him to the back because it seemed like he got injured again or something. Maybe he just came back too fast anyway. But
I mean, granted, John was in his home state. Obviously, what I like to call the suburb of Cincinnati. So
right.
maybe that's something that to do with it. Or, again, I can't say it enough about the AEW fans. Like, they're really smart. And from hearing all of this negativity throughout the week with these alleged reports, maybe they just really hated Punk. Yeah, the match started, then they were chanting for CM Punk, but that's what AEW fans do. They root for you for 1 minute, then they hate you the next. It's just really weird. What a relationship that we have with our wrestlers. But yeah, I think that had to really do with it. But yeah, we shall see how that starts. And before we talk about the main event, we did get a match announced for All Out. Christian basically backstage showing his little segment. We're going to get Jungle Boy, or should I say, I think he's a Jungle Man now. So Jungle Man, Tarzan, whatever you want to call him.
Well, I don't think they can use Tarzan. I mean, but they're on Well, we'll have to see about that because they do have the movie under WB Discovery. So they could market. I mean, no, but I mean, it would be smart for them to market it if they decide to. But but yeah, of course, Christian did an interview. He decided to accept the challenge. So we're gonna have Christian Cage versus Jungle Boy at All Out. Seven, what say you? How do you feel about this match being set up?
It's been a long time coming. I think we're going to see Luchasaurus with a heel turn.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that could be it.
And
then, go ahead. I'm sorry.
And I'm sorry, just reading the comments. Caleb does agree. He thinks we will get to that. Caleb, he says Will versus Kenny, and then he says Chris Jericho. Well, he heard Chris Jericho's going to come back to WWE.
Well, we'll get into that. I have my opinions when it comes to that. So.
Yeah.
Of course, the next segment that comes up is Ricky Starks. He did a promo in the ring, and then he challenges Will Hobbs for a match. Powerhouse Hobbs, to a match at All Out, which was confirmed. I feel like this is going to probably be a really eye-opener for fans to see Ricky Stark as a star. Like, that promo that he did was very good. Like, I feel like he will probably be a champion maybe next year.
TNT champion, or like what do you mean?
I think TNT champion or heavyweight champion. I think by next year.
Possibly, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, this segment was awesome. Fucking love Starks on the mic. The guy is great. He's fantastic. This match, though, love the story behind it. It's, my brother turned on me. He's trying to hurt me. He's trying to do whatever he can.
Yeah, he said like he hit me in the neck. He was like, that's a low blow right there, dog. He was like saying,
With a broken freaking neck.
Like you felt his like emotion though. That's beautiful. Like I love
Yes.
it. Like it was just like So it was just like I just enjoyed that. So and of course
He
we
actually,
talked. Jordan, I'm sorry.
no, I was just gonna say Ricky Starks actually his mannerisms remind me of a lot of one of my coaches from Oregon Pro. So like when I see him in the ring, I literally see like so much of my coach in him or one of them that it's weird seeing it.
You never know.
So
Maybe
I'm a fan based off of my coach because of. Yeah, anyways, that was
You
it.
don't
That's
know.
my story.
Maybe
Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
no, but you never know. Maybe he did talk something to Ricky. So we'll never see.
Oh, it wasn't Ricky. It was it's Eddie Pearl.
Okay. Anyway, so of course we talked about the Moxley interview that he did after he won his match. He was very he was a little bit like taken aback that fans were against him, but of course he kind of brought everybody back, saying of course he is the man, he deserves this championship, things like that. And of course they announced some matches for Rampage. Of course they had the mixed tag match. I like the fact that they have mixed tag match happening. That would help some of the women. So of course Sammy Guevara and his new bride Ty Mello versus Ruby Soho versus Ortiz. So I'm excited for that. And of course Jade will have an interview. I think they're probably going to set up Jade versus Athena for All Out for the TBS Championship. I think that
Oh,
will
that's not
probably
already confirmed.
no, not yet. So yeah, because of the fact it's going to happen on Rampage, so we have to wait until Friday. So
Gotcha.
and of course they announced some matches. Of course, Bryan Danielson versus Jake Hager. So I'm interested just to see that match. I don't think they faced each other in WWE.
So if you guys didn't notice, I'm gonna call Orlando out for a minute.
Oh shit.
He was gonna say I'm excited for this, and then realized his ass was not excited for this. And I'm really interested in this. It's all right. You don't gotta lie to kick it.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, any Jake Hager fans out there, I'm sorry.
To counter with that, Hager just does not invest to be. I'm sorry. He's a great, grappler and stuff like that, because of his background. But, man, I think he's only had 4 or 5 matches since 2019. So he's a lame duck.
Sorry, Caleb. Sorry that you're a fan of Jake Hager. Okay, I don't mean to offend you.
Now we're going to lose our viewers. Thanks a lot, Orlando.
Yes. No, Caleb, please keep watching, please. Thank you. We appreciate you every single time that you watch us, okay?
Of course. I'm going to call him out, too. He does not include our War Dog 7, because he has a match on Rampage as well.
Oh, God, here we go.
Yes, against Dolph Ziggler Jr., okay?
Mm-hmm. Yes. And, of course, they did do a recap of Kenny Omega's return, which I kind of liked. They kind of highlighted his return and stuff. So it's interesting that they did it before the main event because, of course, the main event, can we just talk about a match of the year contender trios match? Death Triangle.
Finally.
Yes, finally we got to it. Death Triangle versus United Empire. Of course, that's Will Ospreay with Aussie Open. I'm not familiar with Aussie Open, but they are great workers, and this match was a killer. I was like, I love this match. I was applauding every moment, everything. Go ahead, Seven.
I was like, is it my turn? Is it my turn? Is it my turn?
Yes.
Okay. So you know how you know something before everybody else knows it? And then once everybody else catches on the tea, you're like, I knew it all along. So this is kind of what I feel about with Will Ospreay. People, don't get me wrong, people know he's freaking amazing. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. However, in our group, a lot of people aren't privy or don't have time to it.
Who are these people? Why are they even in our chat? I'm sorry. No, I never said I was not a no. I'm not a fan of him personally, but I didn't say I was not a fan of him in the ring. Like he's amazing in the ring. There's a
No, no,
difference
no.
between the personality versus the ring work.
I don't know what you know about. Okay, that's not even what I was saying.
Okay, anyways.
Hold on. What I was saying was that you probably haven't seen too many Will Ospreay matches outside of AEW, correct?
I seen like one indie match that he had with Ricochet back years ago, and of course he
Okay.
did do a match in Impact when they had like a Brit, like they did a Brit boot camp kind of thing. Like he had like a
Okay.
match. I forgot who it was that he was against, but it was a really interesting match there. So
But there are people kind of in our chat or even in the regular community who are casual fans who
of
don't
course,
know Will Ospreay, right? And that's okay.
Mhm.
Like there's no way that everybody can know every single wrestler. Don't think I'm downing anybody for not knowing.
No,
But
of
there
course not.
is definitely like that moment of I am finally glad that he is getting the appreciation that he deserves because for me he is probably the best and you all know how much I love Hangman and other wrestlers but Will Ospreay to me is probably the best wrestler I have seen and I would probably co-sign that he is probably the best wrestler of our generation. Okay, with that being said, and when I said, I don't know what you know about him personally. I know he comes off as a real jackass. That is his persona. Like he actually
Hmm.
donates a lot of money to charity,
Of course,
which if you like, New Japan actually highlights it a lot. Talks about like all the charities that he does. Um, and he doesn't go out and say that he's doing this, which is probably why people are, and it's probably a good thing because he's a heel or he's supposed to be a heel. It's his persona. If
of
he's out
course,
there saying like, "Oh, look at what I do, look at all this charity," it kind of wears off, and he'd be the ass that he has a persona. So for me, like I think he's a generally good guy. Like, do I know him personally? No, I don't think I've ever met him, never been around him. I don't know. But
right.
from what I've heard from different people that do know him, he is actually a pretty decent guy. So for me, and I'm actually not too familiar with the Aussie Open, so seeing them kind of tag team, it was pretty awesome. And then you also get who we had in there; they are just absolutely amazing. So I mean, we were going to have a great match no matter what. I did not expect it to be the level that it was, which I think is absolutely amazing match. Like for me, it probably contender of the year.
Yes, I agree.
Okay, that's it. That's all I had. I had all that energy for that.
What say you, Gary? How did you feel about this main event match?
It's funny and very ironic that we're talking about this because my mother just texted me saying my boys were on tonight, which was the Lucha Bros.
Wait, who is it? Who is it?
I love your mother. I gotta meet your mother one of these days. She likes certain, she likes the Lucha Brothers. Oh, bless her heart.
Yes.
Bless her heart. Anyways,
Yeah, she really loves them and she calls them her buddies. I'm like, how are they your buddies? And she always tells me, oh, I'm gonna meet them someday. I'm like, well, maybe you will. Yeah, this match, man. I mean, I was thinking to myself, okay, are we really going to have over 30 minutes for this? Is it going to be good or is it going to be we shall see?
hmm
And these trios titles are a blessing already. I mean, my gosh, just these six men are just insane. Pac, he shows why he's your champion. You see why Lucha Bros are the way they are, and that's not going to take away from the Aussie Open because my goodness, and I'm very excited for that match. I mean, now we get to see Ospreay and Omega in sign an AEW ring. Like now, this is
Ooh, that
um,
has to be the main event for next week's Dynamite.
oh
I'm sorry.
jeez, if it's
I
not.
have I just have an inkling that has to go 60 minutes, like because it
60 minutes.
because like with those six
Ooh.
men, because of course Osprey and Omega hate each other, and they're gonna probably tell their teammates, no, we're gonna go 150 or 200% on this match. So I
Yeah.
just, like, of course, we're talking about the ending where, of course, Aussie Open and Will Ospreay beat Death Triangle, because thanks to Kip Sabian, who took out Pac because they were having a feud. So exciting to see Pac versus Kip Sabian. Maybe it will probably be maybe a main event for Rampage, maybe, or maybe it will probably be on All Out. So hopefully we'll see that, and it's going to be the return of Kip Sabian. I'm excited for him. He's been out for almost a year, so we'll see what happens.
Sorry, I'm chuckling at my mother. Where's my Anna with a sad face?
Yeah,
she loves her Anna. Yeah.
But let's just say, like, but then at the end, when of course, United Nation was like celebrating United Empire, excuse me. Of course, the Elite come out, they stare down, and of course Omega, and then Will Ospreay staring at each other, and then of course Ospreay is asking to come to the ring, and then of course Omega wants to go over there, but of course Tony Schiavone stops him because he knows where the money's at. It's like next week.
That's one thing I love about AEW so much is they don't go and just attack each other. They really, really wait for that, and I love that so much about this company. So, yeah, man, this is probably going to be FTR's 7 stars. This match is going to be insane.
Yeah, but for me, I just felt like, for me personally, these two should have been in All Out in Chicago. Like, honestly, I think like this would have probably been a banger of a pay-per-view match. They just have it like on Dynamite. Like, don't get me wrong, it's probably it's gonna be, of course, it's gonna be an amazing match. But for me, I think they should have had the finals. Should have been, Aussie Open and Ospreay versus the Elite. But I get what they're going to do, because I think it's going to be best friends. They're going to go into the finals, because best friends have been the original trio since the beginning of AEW. So that's probably a reward for them. So.
See, and that's where I would love to see Orange get a title finally. But at the same time, I think it's clear as day. But you know what?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Well, we will see what happens next week. I mean, a lot of things could happen, so we shall see what happens. Now, let's segue into some WWE news. Let's just talk about the return of one Johnny Wrestling himself, Johnny Gargano, has returned to WWE, and he's now on Monday Night Raw. How did you guys feel about the return of Johnny Gargano? What say you, Gary, first?
So yes, obviously I did not see it until I watched my Raw highlights, and if I could be quite blunt, man, I'm so happy for Gargano. I really am. Yeah, man, he deserved that pop. He really, really did. And yeah, I'm not gonna sit here and bullshit anybody. I got emotional. It was awesome. Maybe because I love Gargano, but good for him, very good for him. And one thing I loved about this, actually, everybody was expecting to have their way, but no. We did not see that, and smart booking by Hunter with this as well, because this is really still making me believe Gary's going to get that title. I really do. They're making them like how the Money in the Bank winners used to be. Back in the day, you're getting demolished, you're getting embarrassed, you're looking like a goof, and then next thing you know, you get the unexpected win. So I think they're going to give that to Theory. But anyway, that's a whole different topic. But yeah, what an awesome moment here for Johnny Wrestling. And yesterday morning, I was listening to Rebel Heart on the way to work. So that comeback really got me invested for sure.
That's good. What say you, Sabbath?
Sorry, if you're also noticing that I'm like totally distracted, it's because I am. But also I'm trying to post stuff to our Facebook, so even after the show, go check it out. Yeah, I wasn't surprised. Like, I kind of figured that he was coming back, especially with Hunter there.
So
I think it's good that I'm glad that he's back.
yes.
One thing, though. Sorry to cut you both off.
No, you're
One thing. I was nitpicking with this with Tony Khan. Now I'm going to nitpick it on Hunter. Slow down a little bit. There does not need to be a return every single show. Slow it down. I wouldn't mind the returns if they were like something that's spread out, as you guys know, because that's what I've been saying in the chat and other places as well. So I really think Hunter needs to slow it down, because then the surprise factor, it's going to be, it's not fun anymore. You know what I mean? It's going to water down. I mean, we've seen almost 10 returns since SummerSlam, and I don't want Hunter to do this where I felt like when TK was doing it just to get a number. I don't want him to go that way. I'm not saying that's what he's doing, but it's gotta get a little stale to me. I'm just saying the truth here, everybody that's watching. That's how I feel. But again, that does not take away the Gargano thing. Because again, I loved it so much.
Right.
I do agree with 7, though. It was no surprise. So.
Right. I mean, the reports were saying, like Fightful just reported that, of course, they thought that the draft was going to happen after Clash of the Castle, but it seems like USA Network does not want to have a draft yet, so they want to wait until probably after WrestleMania. So maybe because now that there's new additions to the roster, so maybe they want to play with those. So maybe that's why they don't want to have the draft yet, which I can see. Like now, there's new people that could have fresher matches, so I'm excited for it. I get like getting fatigued with a lot of the returns and stuff, but I'm thinking that what Triple H is trying to do is throw a few of them that were like mistakes of what Vince decided to release, and other people that he feels that can be the next big star. Like Johnny Gargano will probably be the next Daniel Bryan, from how Daniel Bryan was booked in WWE back in 2013, 2014. So I could see that for Johnny Gargano and that type of push, and he's a great underdog. He's a great type of like face whenever he's like being like he has to fight back and stuff. So I'm excited just to see the fresh matchups that he's gonna probably have with like maybe Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn if he ever goes to SmackDown, Roman Reigns. There's so many people that now he can play with that. He does have the emotion because we've seen it. He grew in NXT in the Black and Gold threat. So, and of course, Triple H wants to make sure that his kids are, like he likes to call his NXT Black and Gold people his kids, take care of them really well. So I'm thinking he's going to probably take care of Johnny Gargano.
I mean, you want to get that tag division a little bit better, because they have probably the weakest tag division in wrestling.
Well, I mean, they're starting to build it up. I mean, like, there's some new teams, so we'll see, like, how it's going. I think what Triple H is trying to do, he's just trying to get the pieces in, and then he's going to probably start solving the puzzle. So he's just, like, trying to set things up.
I would love to see the ILI again. That's where I was going with that. And how ironic, we got, 7 from, Oregon. And I think that's where Ciampa turned on Johnny Gargano at TakeOver Portland.
No, of course.
That was it. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That was a few. I'm sorry.
I think you may be right, because honestly, that's actually really funny that you mentioned that. That was the pay-per-view that I watched that actually got me back into wrestling after not watching for 15 years. Wow. And the only reason I watched it is because I don't even remember who it was. They're like, "Hey, I know you used to watch it. Like, I hear it's in your hometown." And I was like, "Ooh." Like, what are you talking about? And I was like, NXT. Like, I was somewhat familiar about it, but I didn't really know what it was at that time. And I was like, all right, I'll check it out. And then from like when I stopped watching it in 2005 to watching that NXT takeover, my mind was like, like I was 5 years or however old I was when I started watching again. And so I guess I should probably put a little more respect on Gargano's names. I mean, I think he's very talented. as people, we just tend to gravitate towards more people or different people.
Of
For me,
course.
I just don't gravitate towards them.
Hmm. Yes, that's why you're our resident GCW fanatic. So yeah. So okay.
Facts.
By the way, since I'm talking about GCW, is there any matches coming up this weekend? Please say so.
Wait, hold on.
Yeah.
Stop the press.
No, I'm asking you for real, like to announce to our fans here, like
No, I know that. Oh, that's why. Okay, I was wondering what your motive. I was like, are you gonna watch it with
I
me?
just
Like,
gave
I got
you. Oh my god.
so excited for a minute, and I was gonna like totally call you out. Um, I don't, I don't know. They just had a double header, and usually after they do a double header, they usually take a week off. I'll
Okay.
have to double check. Like as much as I watch it, I don't know what's coming until I like look. Because usually I look on Friday because if they have a double header, it's on Friday and Saturday. I do know that they have some huge shows coming up. They're headed to the UK and Liverpool, and they're also going to like a 3 night in Japan tour. So there's a lot of good things coming from GCW. Definitely check it out. Like if you guys want really good wrestling without kind of the storylines, you have every type of match that you can kind of think of. You have good technical, you have strong, you have blood, you have the women, like you literally have everything. If you were a fan of old school ECW, not the WWE version, old school,
Yes.
they
Paul E. Heyman that took over ECW. That ECW.
yes, that was absolutely some of the best times watching, and I think that GCW is kind of not going above it, but it definitely reflect of it and made something their own that has that type of niche to it. So for me, that's my favorite company.
So
Actually,
I
I take
gave
that back.
this.
I will never say that again. I take it back. I don't have favorite companies. I love all wrestling. Thank you.
Um, so
Sorry, Coach.
to answer your question over there, guys, I knew the right person to ask about GCW, and that was actually Stu. Um, Freaking love Stu Sexton. So yeah, there is no GCW event um, this weekend, but there is one next week, and the whole weekend is going to be in Chicago.
Yep.
Yep.
I mean, let's just talk about it. Next weekend is going to be a stacked week of wrestling. I mean, you got, of course, of course, All Out, and of course they are doing, Worlds Collide, NXT Worlds Collide, where unfortunately the news of NXT UK had to fold. So now what they're doing is doing unification matches. So now because they're gonna rebrand it as NXT Europe. So I'm thinking what it happens is just like they didn't want to hold this talent hostage because I think some of the talent didn't want to move to Florida. That's probably why they created NXT UK. But now what they'll try to do is now if they're going to do NXT Europe, now they're going to travel more towards the European market so that way these wrestlers could get more exposure in different places. So, but of course, they announced it. They had to release some of the talents, hoping the best for them. I mean, Amelia McKenzie, she just was announced now. She's going to be in the GCW when they go to Britain. She's going to be facing Alley Cat. I just saw that announcement. That's exciting. So,
I
um,
love Alley Catch.
yes. My only gripe is just that the two matches that just already announced was, of course, the Unification Males match, which is Braun Breaker versus Tyler Bate. They're gonna probably have a great match, those two. You know, I'm just wondering who they want to put the belt on. I'm thinking it has to be Braun Breaker because I don't know if Tyler Bate wants to move to the States. I mean, he had several opportunities to move to the States, so we shall see about that one. And of course, the three-way triple threat match with the women, which is Blair Davenport, Mako Satomura, and Mandy Rose. I'm just hoping they do not give Mandy Rose the belt because she's ready for the main roster now. I think it would be smart for them to give it to Blair Davenport because she is still new. Mako is probably ready for the main roster as well. Or if she doesn't want to stay in the United States, she could probably, come every now and then, help train, the women there because I think they do need it because Mako was training the women in NXT UK. So that was a part of her deal as well. So.
But let's be fair. Okay, so I just watched NXT for the first time in probably a couple of weeks, maybe a month or so. And I also watched like 2 episodes of Leveled Up. Okay, like whoever's training them, like kudos, because they're really pretty new and they're able to provide these type of matches. Look at the main event last night with Tiffany Sutton and Wendy
Chu,
Cho.
Tiffany Stratton and Wendy Chu from this past year.
Yeah, like that was an amazing match. So I mean, yes, Miyako coming would absolutely be amazing. I wouldn't mind her being champion or main roster for SmackDown.
Yeah, I mean, come on now, Sasha wants that match with Mako, so
that's one match that I'm excited for is the women's match for sure. I don't know if Davenport's going to win. I actually would love to see. Sorry, Lando. Can you say her name again?
Mandy Rose or
no,
Mako Saramura. Mako. Yes. The final boss. She is the final boss. Damn it, she deserves to be the final boss.
Yes.
She's simply amazing, man. I would love to see that. I really, really would. You know, and then if she doesn't win, why not? Put her on the main roster. Hell, let her actually team with Asuka. I think they would be a damn good team.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and of course, you know, Natalia tweeted about Mako. Now she's on NXT. I think she wants that match with Mako as well. I mean, a 20-plus year veteran in the women's division, that's very rare. So, I mean, like, and she's a freaking legend. I think, like, she could have just maybe 1 year in the main roster. She can have amazing matches with a lot of women there, you know? Yeah. But, like, yeah, and also Braun Breaker and Tyler Bate, I don't know what direction they'll go there. I mean, like, I think either because they're trying to build up, because I don't know who else can beat Braun Breaker. That's another thing. It's like there is a roster there, but I don't know who's ready to take the belts from these two, like from Braun Breaker and Mandy Rose. So I'm just
I think Tyler Bate would win because you're talking about, you know, who could take down Braun Breaker. At first, I thought, you know, maybe if they, you know, get the pieces together, Santos Escobar really would have been great for that position, but he already had his chance. With Santos, we're going to see him on Raw or SmackDown either next week. So with that said, though, Tyler Bate, man, he was one of the best NXT champions in NXT UK's history. Like, no way can take that away from him. So,
and he's only like 25, 26. That's incredible.
Damn good talent.
He's really so young. He's still so young. I mean, so we shall see what. I mean, like, I could see Ilya Dragunov coming to the States. I think, like, right now he's injured, but I think he'll come to the States. Like, right now, Charlie Dempsey, William Regal's son, he was in NXT UK. Now he debuted on NXT Prime. So we've seen him, you know. Blair Davenport will probably be sticking around there, as well as, you know, Gallus. So I'm excited for Gallus to, like, you know, face, you know, Diamond Mine. So that would probably be a fun little tag match there. You know, so, I mean, you know, I like that they're mixing up some of the European talents with the newer talents because I think they deserve it. They'll help, like, with their reps and stuff. So, but we shall see what happens by next week. So, guys, also, finally, we are on Patreon. Yes, I have decided to put it on the link in our YouTube channel. So if you go to our YouTube channel, please go ahead and like and subscribe there, as well as go into the descriptions. Our Patreon is right there. We're also going to be sharing it on our Facebook page and our Twitter. So please join and be our top tier type of people. And yes, and next week is going to be a busy week, you know, with all this wrestling coming up. I mean, how do you guys feel? Like, are you guys getting excited for All Out, Clash of the Castle, you know, Worlds Collide, GCW, you know?
I'm feeling overwhelmed. Like, that's a lot of wrestling, but the only good thing is that I won't be on call, so I can enjoy it. You know, it's a lot of wrestling, and that's kind of what's been happening lately, especially with the indies who are on Fight TV. They'll go to wherever there's a big pay-per-view, mainly AEW, and host shows because that's where everybody is. I mean, it's pretty ingenious, but as a watcher, it's hard to get everything in. As a worker, it's amazing because you don't have to travel from one place to the other to be on a show. It's literally like you can kind of settle. So it's a catch-22. But it's amazing. And I do want to mention that we will be splitting up the shows. One will be a WWE focus and one will be an AEW focus, which will obviously be on Wednesdays. Because my attention span cannot last an hour and however long we're going to go. As much as I'd like to, but I'm sitting here like, okay, what do I got to do? So yeah, I do want to mention that there are going to be several shows split, and there's also going to be exclusives, of course, on our Patreon and all that good stuff.
Yes, coming soon, guys. So, Gary, what about you? How do you feel about what's coming up this weekend?
Damn, is all I can say. It's funny because 2 months ago, when they announced, the Castle pay-per-view, I'm thinking, I don't know. And Trips is doing damn good stuff here to make it a show to remember. I hope Drew gets that title that he rightfully deserves in front of that crowd. There's hope. And I really am feeling optimistic that will happen because USA wants one world champion on there. About damn time. USA, you're doing right things now. So I like that. GCW, I definitely plan on watching it as well. As you guys know that you just joined last night, I'm a part of predictions, so I'm going to keep up on that next weekend. We're also going to do predictions for All Out and, of course, the WWE show as well. So good luck to the both of you. But yeah, just what a great time to be a fan. We say that all the time. We're definitely getting spoiled for sure. And outside of that, though, outside of the wrestling bubble, I would also like to promote something before we sign off here. Very, very happy and very excited for this episode, brand new episode, this coming Saturday on AEW Elite. It will be with this 10-year-old boy that I met at the Minneapolis show. His name is Alan. And he has a big surgery coming up, and I'm actually going to make it a charity stream. You guys can donate 10 cents. You guys can donate $1. I really want to donate some proceeds towards his upcoming surgery. It's a big one for him. And, this kid loves AEW, passionately. This guy was just riddling so much about Claudio to ROH, and I'm thinking to myself, I really want to get to know this kid a little bit more. And his mother got back to me yesterday, and she's like, yes, Alan sees you live all the time. So it's going to be a great episode. Hopefully everybody can definitely tune in. This means a lot to him, and especially me. This is why I love giving back to so much fans on AWR.
Can you make sure that you let us know when it goes, message me? That way I can post it on all of our social medias, directing it towards you.
Yes.
Because we want to help as much as we can as well.
Yes, of course. We're going to share that soon enough. But thank you guys for joining us for this long episode. I thought it was going to be a little shorter because of what was going on. But of course, we had a lot. Exactly. We had a lot of things to talk about. So probably in the next couple of weeks is probably going to get a lot more busier for us. Of course, don't forget our Patreon, subscribe, listen to us on the go on our whatever podcast you'll be able to. So until then, guys, have yourselves a nice evening.
Toodaloo. And on